Hi everybody, Dirk from Loki's Reverie here. I lost some time. I had a shoulder injury, so I'm kind of working real hard to get things caught up. It is now Sunday the 18th, which means I have a little bit under 2 weeks left. I got to put the whole haunted thing together. I'm almost done with all the props. We just got done through the course of the week, last Sunday mostly, building our biggest prop. Things didn't go too well. Remember before I was saying that if things aren't going well and you don't see any other alternatives, just feel free to change things around, whatever, build for effect, all that kind of stuff. Well, I was building for effect and it just didn't quite work out. So I'm going to show you our latest prop, which we named Roger. Now a couple people actually messaged me and asked, why do you name all your props? Well, in Halloween, if you say, hey, hand me that spooky looking corpse, or hand me the ugly skeleton, how's anybody going to know which one it is? So we give them all names. It's silly, it's juvenile, but then again, so is what I'm doing. So that works out real good. Let me show you our one that is Roger. Daughter named him Roger. Now, for those of you who are Monty Python fans, his real name is Fwee Roger.
Okay. There is Roger in all of his shadowed ugliness. You get out in the light here a little bit, because there's peace and serenity within the light. Okay, this is, that's a little better. This is Roger. Now this is the same technique we used before. Roger's body is made out of furring strip, a cardboard tube, a lot of, here you go, zip ties to hold the pieces together. We used one of our foam skulls there, and the mask that actually makes up Roger here was an old lady mask that we modified. These are some of the Dollar Tree eyes. You'll see there I've got plenty of burned skins. Now you notice here that Roger's torso is kind of not anatomically correct. The original idea was that there would be a motor up top here that would lift him up off of this, he's on what's called a St. Andrew's cross, or some people call him an angel's cross. We actually made that out of scrap wood. I'll get to that. See, now Roger's torso here is actually two pieces. You see him move, and he was going to lift up by a motor. The motor was going to pull him up, and he'd be separating from the torso, and then he'd go back down. It would have been really cool. But none of my motors were strong enough. One of them actually burned up and caught fire, and the other ones just didn't do the job. So after much deliberation and talking with the family, they said that he is now going to be put on fire. I wanted to build a big saw to be cutting him in half, but they said fire. But first let's get on to the St. Andrew's cross construction, which is actually the most complex part of it. Like I said, the Roger's body here was just made using the normal technique: spray foam, slap spray paint on it however you want, some saran wrap to give him the skin, and I made the skin bits a little bit dark, especially around the legs here, and I put some bunched up spots there to look like his skin is being peeled off as he's getting burnt and all of that. He's actually fully jointed, so we can pose him later if we want to, but this will work for now. Alright, let's get on to how the cross was built. Okay, we're in the back of the prop right now. This is actually made so it can come apart and be very, very strong. You can actually climb on this thing if you want. Basically, it's made out of two 2x6s that were cut in half, and they're cut at a 19 degree angle each to give me a 38 degree thing here. Now here in the center, you see I've got some cast off pieces there to help give it a little bit of rigidity, and the left and right pieces are hinged together. Now there's a can you see? Yeah, there's a plate right here. It's just cut out a piece of plywood, and I use carriage bolts for the whole thing. There's carriage bolts that hold it together at the top, and you can't really see them here. There you go. There's carriage bolts there, and the whole thing can unbolt, and the legs will hinge over each other. And the bottom piece here, the top piece there, as you can see, also unbolt. I use a third hinge here. We had a door, so for the stabilizer arm, and that just goes down. That's cut at a proper angle there, so it will sit flat. And you'll see I've got a rope there to keep it from flying backwards. And in my neat and pristine garage here, that piece there actually will be put in there ultimately to keep it from bending forward. Now, with Roger here, like I said, we wanted him to go up and down, but it just didn't quite work out that way. So very, very similar to the electric chair prop that we made. I've got this little Dart brand reciprocating saw here that I got from Lev's Pawn Shop, and it will move them back and forward a little bit in a vibration thing. I'm going to move the camera around so you can see that effect. Now, this effect isn't finished yet. We are going to make fake coals here that will sit in front of him. And that's the next part of the project. Since all this stuff, except for the building of the St. Andrew's Cross, is pretty standard stuff that you've seen me do before, didn't think you need to know. But we'll show you the movement here with the reciprocation in just a second. Alright, I don't have it hooked up to a pressure switch, so you have to see my ugly butt walk out here and set it up. So here's the vibration effect utilizing the Dart tool. And there we go.